Have you checked out all the new handicappers at WagerTalk? If not, here's your chance. You can take 50% off your first daily or 3-day all-access purchase at WagerTalk using coupon code TRYWT. Our new roster of experts is 30 deep, covering sports from all around the world, giving you tons of options to choose from. All you have to do to redeem this offer is go to WagerTalk.com, choose a handicapper of your choice, and use coupon code TRYWT at checkout, saving 50% on your first purchase.
Welcome, everybody, to Wager Talk Today. I am Lawrence Presman. He is Teddy Covers, and you're watching the best daily sports betting show on the planet. Slim Shady, right off the bat. Prez takes Niners tonight. Ha ha. Teddy, Slim Shady's making shit up, bro. How are you?
I'm doing all right today. Prez, how about yourself? I got a couple complaints for Thursday morning, but it could always be worse.
Yeah, that it could. Big Daddy writes, Prez bet under 43 in San Fran, Seattle. Dude, how do they know when I'm not betting on either of these things? Guys, come on, man. We sell plays for a living. Come on. Don't make this shit up. Anyway, I do have some thoughts on the game, and I'll give it out the daily presidential address. My brother, who is on the show today, and what will they be talking about?
Carmine Bianco is going to open up the show today. He's going to break down the World Cup final. No, it's not Morocco and Croatia, to the surprise of nobody. France and Argentina on Sunday morning. Carmine's going to break that down for us. He's also going to take a look at some NHL for tonight. I believe the Maple Leafs and the Rangers. Adam Trigger is going to join us next. He's going to talk Santa Clara in college hoops against the Anteaters. Cal Irvine this evening, one of my favorite nicknames in all of college hoops. And, of course, he's going to talk some NFL for Sunday. The Eagles and the Bears. We'll close out the show with Steve Merril. Merril's going to talk some NBA and NFL. I believe Chargers, Titans, and Bucks, Grizzlies. My big game breakdown, also in the NFL for Sunday. We're going to take a look at the Falcons and the Saints in that one, President. Of course, your presidential address to close out the show. If we get 100 likes, there you have it.
We will.
Thursday edition. Absolutely loaded. Stay tuned.
Oh, we're getting 100 likes. Jessica's on the chat room today. Teddy, before we bring Karma on, listen, man, I'm on one of those like it happens 3 times a year runs. And I want to talk about it because I mean, very rarely do you lay down these ridiculous numbers. So you're going to have to just put up with me promoting for about 30 seconds. Dan, cue up a clock. Give me 30 seconds. Do you have one? No. Oh, he wants a second. So, because I don't want to over promote, Teddy. I want to be timed. I want people to know when it is going to end. Dude, I'm
so
watching.
Does this count?
Yeah. No.
Does this count as your promotion time?
No,
this
it does not
wasted
count.
Time, and then we'll get to the promotion time.
Wasted time. Get mad. Scrunch that face, Teddy. Scrunch that face. Yes. Squint, baby. Okay, Dan, I'm not waiting you out. Here's the bottom line. I am up profit in, and Teddy, this is pretty amazing. I'm up profit in NFL, NBA, college hoops, and NHL. Every one of those sports individually, I'm up profits. I am on a 19-5 college basketball run, a 22-8 NBA run. My NFL has been ridiculous. Okay, 26 seconds. There it is. I'm done now, Teddy. But come on, man. I am in the freaking zone, baby. Okay, let's bring Carmine Bianco.
Do you have a promo code for the listeners, or are you just going to
go
on and on?
No promo code. Just get my 3-day all access.
Anything?
No promo code. I should still tell everyone how I'm doing.
That's the most important thing at the top of the show. Our Sports Center for Gamblers, the best betting show on the planet. The most important way to open the show is for you to brag about how hot you are right now. Go.
Yes.
With no promotion and no nothing.
I did.
Go to town. Have a good time.
Carmine Bianco, welcome to WagerTalk Today.
Guys, great run, Prez. Congratulations
You know
to
what?
you.
I'd like to have heard that from Teddy, but he just wants to squint.
Yeah. I'm already 0-1 today. So I did stoppage time today. I did puck time. We're not doing this. I'm 0-1. I said I'm gonna be on Wager Talk today, and Prez will be wearing one of his 100 salmon-colored shirts. And lo and behold, you're wearing the blue one instead. So I'm 0-1.
RJ Arsenault points out that I heard all the people mocking me for my orange Walmart shirts. I went blue. No, I didn't go blue. Blue just showed up. I don't sit there and try to orchestrate an outfit. Anyway, Teddy is so annoyed. Carm, World Cup, Argentina, France. And you know what? One thing we have to say about soccer is for all the upsets, for all the, oh my God, Germany didn't make it. Oh my God, Belgium didn't make it. Oh my God, Morocco got to the semis. We always seem to end up with the right two teams in the finals. How are we betting this game?
Yeah, we are. And speaking of blue, Les Bleus, France in the finals. This is the World Cup that if you don't have money on any future bets, and I do, but this is the World Cup that everyone wanted to see. Lionel Messi playing his last international match for Argentina in the finals, looking to hoist the trophy he has never won. He's won pretty much every other trophy and competition that you can name. And then you have France, the defending champions from 2018 World Cup in Russia. And the bookmakers don't even know who's going to win. Circa opened up plus 180 on both sides, the draw at about plus 205 on it, and the total at 2. This is, and it's that time of year where it's those Christmas Hallmark movies out there with the happy endings at the end. Is this going to be one of them? From a fan's point of view, I would love to see Messi win the World Cup and hoist that trophy. From a bettor's perspective, I'm going the other way. I'm going to take France here. Two options. You take them to win the game, which includes any extra time and penalties, and that's at minus 125. Or you can take them to win within 90 minutes and injury time at plus 180. I've got futures on France. I've got futures on Mbappe to win the top goal scorer. So maybe I'm a little biased to that, but they've been such a great team in this World Cup. Their only loss was to Tunisia, where they sat all their players in a meaningless game. And that game against Morocco was a little dicey, but they got it done. This is probably the most skilled team that Argentina will face in this tournament, and it's also one that can shut players down. Shutting down Messi isn't the easiest thing to do. I think both teams are going to score in this game, and that's at even money if you take both teams to score, which then lends to the fact that if you think both teams are going to score, you got to take over 2 in this game. Two highly skilled teams. I think there's going to be more than enough opportunities to get some goals in this game. And then the final one, as far as prop bets go, guys, is under 4.5 cards. It's likely going to be the Polish referee, Marciak, in this one. He's only officiated 2 games, one for Argentina, one for France, and there was never more than 3 cards issued in any of those games. He's not going to want to be the official that hands out yellow cards early in this game that has to make a decision on giving a second yellow and possibly a red card to someone. He's going to want the players to decide this on the field, and he's going to be a bystander. So I think under cards in this is a good way to go. Everyone wants the Hallmark ending. I think it's going to be like the James Bond ending, where he's standing on it and the island or whatever blows up, and maybe that is Messi. He's the James Bond we all love, but maybe he doesn't go out a winner.
Carmine Bianco. So I've watched a lot of the World Cup games, and I watched the game yesterday, France-Morocco. Morocco was all over this French team. And when you say this French team can stop teams cold, man, Morocco could have put up 3, bro. They were dancing inside of the penalty area. They were just missing. So it didn't feel to me like France was some kind of defensive juggernaut yesterday.
No, but you're always in control of a game, even when it looks the other teams. You can't expect France to have 80% of possession and literally for the game to be played all in Morocco's zone. The thing that changed that game was France obviously scoring early in that one, and it forces Morocco to open up their game and play like they haven't played before, more of attacking style. But you see with a lot of good teams who are very good defensively, they can absorb pressure. And when you have a very good goaltender, which France does, it helps in that. This is going to be it's going to be such a tactical game, but I think it's going to be one that could go down as one of the best World Cups ever played.
Well, we'll find out.
So,
Teddy?
Yeah, I've got a second follow here because I'm fascinated by this match. I'm fascinated by the line because I've never seen a line where one side to win, the other side to win, and the draw are all basically priced in the same exact range. This is a true pickup. All right. And they're basically, the betting markets are saying neither team has any legitimate edge. Don't you want the draw on this? Isn't this going to come down to extra time and do they have penalty kicks for the final?
Yeah, and they do, and it very well could. The last time Argentina was in the World Cup, I believe it was, if I'm correct, 2014, where they played Germany, and it was scoreless through 90 minutes and then went into extra time. It didn't go to penalties. Mario Götze scored, I think, in the 108th minute or something for Germany, and they won that 1-0. But World Cups do go into extra time and penalty kicks. We saw it in the Euros, just talking about the Euros, where Italy and England went to extra time and then penalty kicks. It is, I get it. Prez is going to tell us it's the dumbest way to decide a championship, but it is the way football is played, and this is the rule that they have, and this is how they play it. You can't let the guys play on the field for 3 hours. They're literally going to drop dead.
Carmine, I don't want to argue over the fact that it's the only way to end a game because they could play for 7 straight hours without getting a goal. Fine. Why can't they make the 30-minute sudden death? I mean, how stupid are you that you have a way to end a game without penalty kicks, and yet you don't? These people are morons. Anyway,
no,
I don't even want to respond.
I'll just answer that very quickly. They had that, and they got rid of it. It was called the golden goal. The golden goal is what is literally you score, the game is over.
You're like,
and that's it.
We got to figure out a way to get to penalty kicks. We got to get rid of sudden death overtime. Dude, the hottest team in hockey right now, the Toronto Maple Leafs, 5 regulation losses on the year, playing the Rangers, who have really gotten it together over the last few games. Plus 105 for New York. Carm, I don't want to bet against the Leafs on this streak, but man, the Rangers have to be the play here. What do you like?
Yeah, listen, the Leafs are 7-1 their last 8 games on the road and against some very good teams to boot. But I think the Rangers have finally turned the corner. Wins against St. Louis, the Vegas Golden Knights, Colorado, and New Jersey Devils, which oddly enough, I stated on WagerTalk, and you're going to see the graphic in a second. I took the Rangers in that game, and I told people it just feels like the banana in the tailpipe just because of the price and the spot that they're in. I thought they were going to win. And I feel the same way tonight. The Rangers are plus 105, and I feel it is the banana in the tailpipe, but I'm going to fall for it. I'm going to take the Rangers to stirk it at home. This team is plus money at home. They're going to have to play one of their best games of the season to beat this Toronto Maple Leafs team who's running super hot. And that's what it is. I'm taking the New York Rangers as the banana in the tailpipe game of the night.
Carmine Bianco. Carm, what do you got to promote?
4 best bets in NHL tonight since November 1st in NHL. Number 1 at WagerTalk, up 47 units. It's been a great run in 4 plays I really like tonight. You can get those over at WagerTalk. And my World Cup plays and package will be up as well, too. You already got some of the prop bets on the show.
Carmine, love it. Teddy covers. Denny U writes, Prez, can't thank you enough for suggesting Rogue Heroes. That's a show I mentioned on Puck Time yesterday. It's a 6-episode show. It's called Rogue Heroes. It's about how the SAS was formed in 1940s in Africa in the middle of the war. It is spectacular. My pleasure, Danny Yu. Teddy, brother, what did you learn in the wonderful world of sports betting?
Oh, last night was a fun one, Prez, because I had my son's school band concert last night. I've got 5 games going at the same time, for the clients. And I'm sitting there listening to the woods and the brass and the percussion. And these were all kids. This is beginning band. They're all kids who didn't play their instruments 3 months ago. So, and then after their band played, there was the beginning guitar, and there was no way to leave in between. Now, it wasn't a long concert. And it was really great to see my son play. It was fun to be there, all of that.
Yeah.
But it's definitely worth noting this time of year, all right, can be really busy. You have kids' concerts, you have final exams, holiday shopping, whatever it is. December, it ain't July. The key is stay sane out there. It's okay to enjoy things that aren't sports betting. This can be an all-consuming endeavor. Don't let it be, at least not at this time of year. Enjoyed the concert as much as I could last night and came out of it with a giant push for the evening, Prez. That's what I learned on Wednesday night.
Teddy covers. I never had the option of doing that. I had to go to dance recitals. And when my girls turned around 14, 15, I had to stop going. I felt like a bloody pervert. I'm like, oh my God, Melissa. I remember when she was 8. Look at her curves. Okay. No. I literally banned myself. Anyway. Too much information. Adam Trigger, what's up, bro? You'll see, Adam.
Oh, what's going on, guys? You're going to have
girls. You're an alpha male. You're going to have girls just like me.
What's going on? I had a non-sports betting related night last night, but unfortunately, I was at the ER vet with my dog basically all night.
Oh.
But he's doing better now. He had a little stomach ache, throwing up all over the place. Kind of like my college basketball teams in the second half this week so far. But I'm here to turn that around. I've got one I think is going to win tonight, and the dog's doing fine. And I'm full of caffeine, so I'm ready to go. No problem.
Both Teddy and I have dogs, so we fully understand it. Okay, Trig, you never ever put up who the team. Your notes are suck, flat out suck. So, guys, Trigger's on Santa Clara -120. Why don't you tell us why?
I'd love to, Prez. Yeah, Santa Clara -120. Actually, more of a fade of the team they're playing tonight, Cal Irvine. As Teddy said at the top of the show, the Anteaters, one of the great mascot names in college sports. UC Irvine, last decade or so, has been dominant in that conference, which is the Big West Conference. Last couple years, specifically last year into this year, I think they've kind of sort of regressed from perennial conference champ. They're still really good. I mean, last year 15-10, so not quite the the elite in that conference. But I still think they get treated like it sometimes. And so that's one of the reasons I want to oppose them here. They're off to a nice start, 7-3. They have a really nice win over Oregon. But you look at Oregon now, 6-5. The Ducks have had some issues. They played San Diego State close. But I look at San Diego State, they also struggled with Troy. They lost to St. Mary's. So not as dominant as I think a lot of people thought San Diego State would be at this point in the season. And then Santa Clara is in one of the other Western conferences, the WCC, which is absolutely loaded this year. That's Gonzaga's conference. St. Mary's, BYU is a little bit down, but they beat Creighton the other day. And the rest of the WCC is solid this year. So you've got a team like Santa Clara, in my opinion, who's really good and is completely lost in the shuffle out there with some really good West Coast teams. They're at home tonight, the Levy Center, which tends to have a nice, home court edge over the years. And I think the number is short. I would have made Santa Clara something more like -3, -3.5 here. Keyshawn Justice, fifth-year senior from Santa Clara, is a stud. Only 8 points last game against Portland State. Santa Clara did win the game, but I expect a bounce-back effort from him. And I don't think he's played his best basketball yet this year. So, yeah, I'm on Santa Clara here. I laid -120. I think it's -1. Either is probably fine. I prefer laying the minus 120 to play the smaller money line. They're at home, and I think they knock off what I consider to be a little bit of an overvalued Anteaters team.
Now, Santa Clara has been a real money burner of late. Their last 5 games, they've been favored all 5 times, and they've covered 0 of them. 0 of those contests. They only lost 1 in straight-up fashion, so they're finding ways to win, just not by margin. Is that why you like the money line here, or is this just one of these scenarios? If you're -1 or -1.5, you're going to look to the money line as opposed to the side, laying the point or 1.5.
Well, Teddy, that's why I like them in general here, right? Because they are winning games, and the games they haven't covered outside of the San Jose State game, which is they were like an 8.5 point favorite, lost that at home. That's not a game they typically lose at home. Like when Santa Clara is good, they typically defend that home court well. So I just think I'd be surprised to see them have another home loss here in quick succession. And I thought I would, if the games recently had played out differently, I think we'd be laying more like 3 here. But UC Irvine had a really nice result against San Diego State. They beat a South Dakota team pretty good. That I thought South Dakota would turn around and potentially have a good game last night. They lost a home game to Coastal Carolina that I thought was very winnable for them. So that win is less impressive for UC Irvine, in my opinion. So I think Santa Clara is the better of these 2 teams when you really look at it on paper. Irvine doesn't have the bigs they've had in years past. They can't defend the rim like they have in years past, in my opinion. So I just think you're getting the better team at essentially a pick in a spot where it feels like they're kind of due for a bigger performance. So I'll take Santa Clara at home here.
Adam Trigger joining us, everyone. You can find him at WagerTalk.com, exclusive handicapper to us. Adam, before we get into the Chicago-Philadelphia game, what do you got to promote?
Well, I've got 2 5% NFL plays. Football's been awesome so far this year. Number 1 at WagerTalk in units gained across both college and pro. And I've got 2 5%ers. One of them is tonight in Seahawks 49ers. The other is this weekend. So yeah, NFL and college football have been great. I have the Bulls up as well. College hoop, like I said, I hope it picks up after a couple of down days, but I was roughly even on the season coming into this week. And I love Santa Clara tonight. So hopefully, and I've given you that one for free. So that's a 4% play. But
Great.
That one is probably the only thing I'll play in college hoop tonight. And it's all up on my page.
Okay, brilliant, Ad. Let's talk NFL football. And yes, guys, if you stay with us, we will be taking apart the Thursday night football game, Seattle-San Fran. But Adam is going to talk Philadelphia against Chicago. I love this game. I like the over in this game. Philly, 18th best run D in football. I think that is where Chicago will try take advantage. I love the over here, Adam. What are you doing?
Well, Prez, I feel like even though I like the Bears +9, but I feel like our handicaps are going to be similar, right? The reason I like the Bears here is to start, the motivation sets up nice for them. Eagles, they come off of a huge performance against the Giants. They clinch a playoff spot. They just had to play the Titans, and they have the Cowboys next week, which historically has been a bad spot for them to cover games. I think it's like 0-5 against the spread prior to the last 5 Cowboys games. You look at the Eagles on the road outside of the division. I think it's when they're favored by 5 or more, they failed to cover 10 straight outside of the division. So the Bears come off a bye week. In my opinion, if they're going to get up for a game, it's probably against the Eagles. I think that would be a spot
Not
where the
Green
motivation
Bay.
would be for the. Yeah, but you know what, Prez? That was headed in. The Bears had a Week 14 bye. I think Week 14 buys are really tough on teams, especially a team like the Bears that doesn't have superior depth, that's traded away some players, had some guys banged up. So I'm willing to kind of throw out their performances prior to the bye week. They come in here rested. They're going to be focused on this game. I truly think the Eagles will be focused on next week. And Justin Fields is kind of the equalizer in a sense, because I don't think the Eagles' pass rush is going to be as effective against Fields. And what it really comes down to, if Philadelphia goes through the motions here, I don't think they're gonna cover 9. And I think your over might be good, because I think that means the Bears might be scoring some points here. So I just think the number is way too big for the spot, and I'll take the Bears at home getting this number.
So the Bears went into the bye. They lost, 6 in a row? They lost 6 in a row and covered only 1 point spread during that entire span. It's a losing team at the tail end of a bad season. They get salary cap relief this offseason. Everything that I've seen from Chicago, including the loss to Green Bay last time, is, let's win some games next year. First-year coach, no pressure there. It looks to me, more than any other team, when it comes to if they have a chance to win, Chicago's finding ways to lose that game. The draft choices, they got a bunch of draft choices. They got a bunch of salary cap relief, and the coach isn't worried about W's. At +9, it doesn't matter as much. But does that concern you here? You talked about a Week 14 bye being a problem. You talked about the Bears' defense being god-awful. Lawrence talked about how he likes the over, and you said you wouldn't argue with that. So basically, you're saying Bears team total over. This team's going to score.
I would agree with that. I do think they're going to score enough points to stay within the number here. I think Prez's over is probably good. The Bears, when they lose straight up and fail to cover, they've covered 7 in a row. So they've been good in this sort of like bounce back spot, at least against the spread. And I don't need them to win here getting 9. As far as I think you could have said that the Texans were in a similar spot last week, in terms of not showing much promise in terms of trying to win games, and they had the Cowboys on the ropes. Feels like kind of a similar, spot for the Bears here. And it really just comes down to, listen, I mean, if the Eagles come to play and they show up and they're firing on all cylinders, they'll probably win this game by a couple scores. But I'm willing to bet that they do not, based on the spot. And just know the game against the Giants and to win in blowout fashion in the magnitude, in the style that they did, and knowing they have the Cowboys on deck, this just feels like a flat spot, a game that they wouldn't put a ton of stock into, and a game that they can still win comfortably, and we can still get the money with the Bears. I think the Bears are going to show up here, guys. I'll take the 9 points.
Adam, I don't want a long-winded answer, but everything you're saying also lends itself to Jacksonville covering over Dallas. You like that play too?
It's the way I would lean. A little concerned that the Cowboys kind of might show up after almost losing to the Texans last week.
Adam Trigger,
and that point spread.
Yeah.
That point spread in a different range. One you can lose a game by a touchdown and cover, and the other one you can lose a game by a touchdown and you won't cover. So, and Jacksonville's coming off a nice win, which is not what the Bears are coming off of. So I don't see your analogy there at all, Prez. But Adam Trigger.
Of course you don't, Teddy. That's how you roll.
Explain it. I'm fascinated.
What's the analogy between these two games? Thank you for joining us. Teddy, we got to keep the show rolling. I have a hard stop at 3 p.m. Eastern. What? It's time. Your big game breakdown.
Have you checked out all the new handicappers at WagerTalk? If not, here's your chance. You can take 50% off your first daily or 3-day all-access purchase at WagerTalk using coupon code TRYWT. Our new roster of experts is 30 deep, covering sports from all around the world, giving you tons of options to choose from. All you have to do to redeem this offer is go to WagerTalk.com, choose a handicapper of your choice, and use coupon code TRYWT at checkout, saving 50% on your first purchase.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. Let's talk some NFL. 4 stood out to me. One that intrigued me: Saints and the New Orleans. And right now, WagerTalk live odds screen. I'm seeing New Orleans pretty much painted -4 across the board. Total 43.5. That has seen some action this morning. It's been a negative turnover differential team all year. They ranked second to last in the NFL turnover differential with a -12. And the betting markets seem to think that makes New Orleans better than they actually are. That the Saints are better than their record would indicate because of that -12 turnover margin. But I asked myself, what is this team doing laying more than a field goal to anybody? They're 3-9 in their last 12 ball games. They're playing out the tail end of a wasted season. They trailed by 16 in the fourth quarter of the first meeting, rallied to win the game. That was Jameis Winston, not Andy Dalton. And Atlanta's in revenge for that 1-point loss. It's a tight series. It's not like this. The 1-point loss was way out of character with how the two teams have played. 2 of the last 3 meetings have been decided by less than a field goal. I understand Desmond Ridder did not look ready in preseason. I'm not convinced Ridder is going to be great, but I do think that Ridder provides a spark. It's his first NFL, no film for New Orleans to study on the guy, and I think that gives Atlanta a big edge. No question that gives Atlanta an edge in this ballgame. And this is a Saints team. Look, they got shut out by San Fran, and the Bucs came back. The last time we saw them, they were up 16-3 and found a way to lose the game with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It's not an offense that clicks. It's not a defense that we trust to get stops. It's not a home field that is dominant this season. 4 points is just too much here.
Yeah.
Falcons plus the 4. There's your big game breakdown. Back to you.
Teddy, I'm so aligned with you on this play. I mean, I feel like we've got 2 pretty close to evenly matched teams, a division game, both fighting for a chance to make the playoffs. Give me the damn points. At
2.5, this is a pass. At 4, it's a play. You know,
yeah, and keep in mind, we got Atlanta, the 4th best rushing team in all of football. So they are going to hold on to the ball. They're going to make long drives. They're going to shorten the game. I'm so with you on this Atlanta team. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the Falcons they have some defensive weaknesses. They're not great against the run. Okay, they're not a great defense by any stretch of the imagination. If New Orleans clicks on offense, we're in trouble in this ballgame.
That is
New Orleans hasn't clicked on offense. Yeah, and they haven't run the football effectively, and their offensive line still is banged up. So I'm not convinced the Saints get out of their season-long morass.
It's amazing because the Saints are the 11th best passing team in football. So they are moving the ball up and down. They just can't convert those into 7 points. I'm so with you on that play. Steve Merril, any quick thoughts on the Atlanta Falcons game?
Well, they were like, I think, the 13th team in history in the last 30-some years to start, 6-0 against the spread, and then all of a sudden they failed to cover like 3 or 4. They came back down to earth. That whole division has just been a mess all season. It's almost like last man standing with the losing record is going to win it.
Yeah, and I hope it's not Tampa Bay. I'm done.
Looks like it probably will be, though.
I know. Well, maybe not, man. I mean, I'm done with Brady, and they lose this week. One, Atlanta or New Orleans, assuming no tie, one's gonna win. So we'll see what happens.
Good point, yeah.
Steve, let's get straight into the Thursday night football game, and a real interesting game. Huge ramifications. Seattle has to win this game if they want to keep pace. I'm hoping, are we seeing a Purdy story unfold? This San Fran D is so good. What worries me about this game, Steve, is if Seattle can't run the ball and become sort of a predictable offense, this San Fran defense is just going to tee up on them. How are you betting this game?
Well, Prez, we always talk about how the Thursday night football road team has a substantial disadvantage because obviously both teams play with 3 days of rest, but you throw in the travel situation, you basically lose a day of prep. It's a little tougher on the body. Now, granted, San Francisco up to Seattle is not a huge road trip, but it's still a road trip, and it's also one of the most hostile environments in all the NFL. It's funny you talk about the Falcons because the Seahawks are that same team that surprisingly started really good against the spread. They have now failed to cover 4 straight. This is a team that was 6-3 against the number. Now they're 6-7 against the number. As you said, just 7-6 straight up, fighting for their playoff lives. Tough game to handicap with Purdy because you just don't know what to make of him. He looked good last week. Tampa Bay, by the way, a better defense than Seattle. So that was a legitimate performance. But now, we talk about that short week and travel is not good in general for teams. You're talking about a very young quarterback coming off a big game. You do kind of get the feeling that maybe he regresses here, but it might not matter because this Seattle defense is not good. But what is good is the Seattle offense. 6.3 yards per play this year against teams that allow 5.7. 49ers average is 6.0. So the question is Purdy really better than Jimmy G and Lance? I'm not going to say that. I'd make it neutral right now. I'm kind of handicapping this game as it's been all season. And I do think it's a good situational spot for Seattle. Let's see if the line gets to 3.5. It's 3 minus 120. DraftKings just went to 3.5 even. At 3.5 or more, I do think there's some value with the Seahawks.
So let me ask you this as a concept question, Steve, as opposed to the matchup. Here's a Seattle team. You talked about how they're 0-4 ATS their last 4. Here's a 49ers team that's 4-0 ATS their last 4. So we literally have a hot point spread team against a cold point spread team. What's your strategy for games like this? Do you want the team where the markets, the team that has extra value because they haven't been covering numbers? Or do you think that, hey, the markets haven't caught up with this team for a reason? San Fran's better than the markets think and Seattle's worse. It's an interesting concept. I'm curious how you approach it.
It's a great question, Teddy, because you don't want to just say a team is due after one game, right? But the markets do adjust after 3 or 4 games. And keep in mind, in the NFL, 3 or 4 games is over 20% of the season. It used to be 25%. It's a little less now because they play 17 games. But we're talking about basically a quarter of the season, like you said, that the 49ers have gone 4-0, Hawks have gone 0-4. I do think at that point you want to start to try to have a contrarian mindset, but you don't want to ask a bad team to do something good for you. The thing is, I don't think Seattle's a bad team. They're still a 7-6 team. They're still a winning team. And I do think this is a situation where the contrarian angle starts to work. And once again, the line has gone from 3 to 3.5. Maybe it was 2, 2.5, 1.5 a couple weeks ago, right? So we're getting a couple extra points. 49ers have about a 9% chance of winning by exactly 3 on the road as a 3-point favorite. So, once again, this is where that contrarian thought starts to work as we get some key line value at 3.5 or more.
Yeah, and Teddy, listen, I think it's an interesting question too. And I started thinking to myself, how would I answer it? And I don't think I take that into account. I don't really look to see, I think you get caught up if you're trying to take that into account. From my perspective, and I think Steve said it best, Atlanta starts the season 6-0 ATS. Are we then supposed to assume the bookmakers haven't caught up? Well, then they lose their next 4. To me, it works itself out. Very few teams at the end of the year are going to be, 13-4 ATS. They're all going to be, there's going to be a few outliers at the top and a few outliers at the bottom, and the rest of them are going to be within 1 game.
Right. Yeah, and
So
Prez,
it sounds
one thing
to me
real
like you're
quick, it
making a
normally
case.
correlates to the straight up record, Teddy, also, right? Like 85% of the time a team wins, they're going to cover, so it does usually correlate to the straight up
Steve,
record. And once
sorry,
again,
I want to talk about that in a second too. Sorry, Teddy, go ahead.
Go ahead, Teddy.
No, it sounded to me like you were making a case for Seattle there. You're like, if teams are going to revert back to the mean.
I do like Seattle.
Yeah. And if San Fran's covered 4 in a row and Seattle's failed to cover 4 in a row, there should be an extra point or 2 or 3 of value on the Seahawks tonight. The problem is, if San Fran's good and Seattle is a team like Atlanta that overachieved early and is coming back down to earth right now, you're only laying a field goal with the superior team. It's not like there's an enormous point spread differential from where it would have been had San Fran not been covered.
Yeah. And Steve, I do agree with your Purdy regression. Now they got film on this guy. Pete Carroll is an incredible coach, et cetera, et cetera. Steve, you mentioned something that I've been thinking about of late, and I want to delve into very quickly. The 3 of us have been doing this for a combined 100 years. Legitimately, we have been betting on sports and handicapping for a combined 100 years or more.
I'm taking the under.
Pretty close.
Take the fucking
pretty
under,
close, though.
whatever. Okay.
Language.
My question, there was always this concept that if the line was under 6, -6, -5, -4, etc., that whoever won covered the spread somewhere in the high 80% range. Right. So if you just pick the winner, you got Minnesota this week -4, Dallas this week -5, Chargers -3, etc. If you pick the winner, you have an 80-something% chance of covering the number up to 6. Do you think that still is a thing? And I know it's been a thing for 30 years. It has always been a thing. But, man, we've seen so much parity in the NFL lately. We've seen lower totals. We've seen tighter games. I got to get Ralph to look at that because
that's a Ralph Michaels question.
Yeah, that is an important thing to take into account. I was curious, Teddy, do you have a thought? Do you still think that is as relevant today as it was 5, 7, 10 years ago?
So the number that's popping into my head, and I don't know if it's real, and I'm not checking it right now. The number that's popping into my head is that the team that wins the game covers the spread in the NFL in the 83 to 84% range.
Exactly what I had, Teddy.
Spread.
And I think it's 7 or less.
I don't think
or less,
that.
If it's 6.5 or less.
I don't think that there's any dramatic difference now than a year or two ago, or 5 years ago, or 10 years ago in that regard.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen it. I don't think that it's changed. I haven't seen any reason for that general philosophy. There's the long-term angle to change. And I again, whenever I'm playing a dog in the NFL, I'm putting a piece on the money line. A piece of my wager.
Correct.
That hasn't changed either. So I don't think that's changed, Prez. Do you think it's changed, Steve?
No, I was just thinking to myself.
I threw back to Steve, Lawrence. No one threw back to
you. You said, Prez, Steve. Shut up and stop being mean.
No, I didn't. I said, Steve, what about you, Steve?
Prez, I'll throw it back to you. But yeah, he did say Steve, but it's not a problem. Look, the Century Club has been watching this for a while, and the lines are probably sharper now than when we all started 33 1/3 years ago. So in that case, maybe it's a point lower, Prez, but I do think most of the time they're going to cover. But keep in mind, guys, real quick, 50% of the time, if you went outright as a dog, you cover 100% of the time, right? So it's not really like it's as tight as it seems because 50%, you got to take 50% out of that equation. So it's really like 33-17 on that other half. So maybe 2 out of 3 times it's going to happen where it bites you. But you're right, Teddy. Moneyline underdog, if you like an underdog in the NFL, is a no-brainer. Put a little bit on that. And it is something that's worked over the decades.
Steve, my brother, we've got a hard out in 2 minutes without any analysis. Milwaukee playing Memphis, Memphis -2. What do we do here?
It's easy. We talked about momentum. The NBA is a different story, as you know, Teddy, because they play 82 games. Memphis has covered and won 6 in a row. Doesn't necessarily mean you look to regress. They're going to regress or you look to fade them. I think it's a focus spot for one of the hottest teams in the NBA. I would not want to get in front of the Grizzlies right now.
Steve Merril, everyone. Anything real quick? He's gone.
No, real quick.
He's right.
$2 Tuesday.
He's back. He's gone. He's back.
Real quick. It's $2 Thursday because my college football bowl best bet is still available for $2 right now. If you missed it Tuesday, shame on you. Don't miss it now. $2 Thursday. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com.
Awesome stuff. Wow, what a fun show, Teddy. Okay, boys, we're at 97 likes. I will forgive 3. Let's go, Dan. All right, guys, it's time for the NFL Presidential Address. I got some picks for you in the NFL and NHL going up tonight. Also, I just want to make mention I'm on a massive, massive run. I am up profit in NFL, NHL, college basketball, and NBA. My college basketball is on a 19-5 run. My NBA, I'm up double-digit profits. And I'm on an 11-5 NFL prop bet run. For my clients tonight, I have 2 NFL prop bets, college basketball, NBA, and a 4% NHL play. Okay, let's get into the NFL game tonight. I like Seattle, and I like the under. Neither of those have made my betting card. I'm betting 2 props instead. But the bottom line for me is I think we're going to see San Fran come into this game with an extremely conservative offense. They're going to try run the ball, slow the game down. I think we're going to see Seattle struggle to run the ball. That's going to make them one-dimensional. San Fran's defense is too good to be one-dimensional. I think we're going to see a low-scoring game, and I think we're going to see a game with inside of 3 points. So take Seattle and the under. As for your 2 hockey bets tonight, I like over 6 in the Toronto-New York Rangers game and I like under 6 in the Seattle-Carolina game. That's it. See you all tomorrow. Teddy, take us home.
Sure, that's going to wrap it for the Thursday edition of Wager Talk Today. Like Prez just said, we're doing it tomorrow, same time, same channel, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon for you back east. Between now and then, lots of games, lots of sports. Enjoy them all. Good luck with your wager.
Have you checked out all the new handicappers at WagerTalk? If not, here's your chance. You can take 50% off your first daily or 3-day all-access purchase at WagerTalk using coupon code TRYWT. Our new roster of experts is 30 deep, covering sports from all around the world, giving you tons of options to choose from. All you have to do to redeem this offer is go to WagerTalk.com, choose a handicapper of your choice, and use coupon code TRYWT at checkout, saving 50% on your first purchase.